It's time for another Dice Tower review with Z Garcia.
Hey everybody, Z Garcia here. Today I'm taking a look at one of the expansions to Thunderbirds, which is a cooperative game, came out a couple years ago or so, from Matt Leacock, designer of Pandemic, and Modifius Games, the publisher. And the expansion that I'm taking a look at right now is called The Hood. Now, if you don't know what the Thunderbirds is all about, in that world, the Thunderbirds are sort of a international rescue that go around and stop bad things from happening in a very general sense. And the Hood was their nemesis. And so in this game, the Hood and the Hood expansion, one player will be taking over for the game's evilness and playing the Hood themselves. And so it's a solid kind of radical change to the base game. Probably the most radical of the three new expansions. And yes, there are three, and I will be doing a video for each of these. So go check those out if you have not seen them, okay? But right now, let's go back, let's focus on the Hood here and take a look at how this whole concept works. How do you play the Hood in the game, and how does it change the play experience? In the Hood expansion, as I said, one player is going to be taking over the role of the Hood, fighting against international rescue, the good guys in the game. And the game includes, in order to do that, you are going to get one character card, the Hood. You are going to get 6 FAB cards that get shuffled into the deck, 6 event cards that get shuffled into that deck. There are 3 scheme cards that will be placed up here, always the same 3, and I've already gone ahead and done that. You are going to get some reference cards, some scheme tokens, which as you can see up here, they come in A's, B's, and C's, but the basic game says to use all the B's, as I'm doing here. You're going to get this one reference overlay for the speed of the machines, and then all of the new plastic bits like the Hood's submarine and plane, and you're going to get the Hood's lair and Creighton Ward, a mansion here, the manor, and you get the camera and the tokens as well. So all of these new bits, or pretty much all of them, belong to that player, and they're going to be the one to manipulate all those things. So the way the game flow goes is the objective is still basically the same. The players need to finish these 3 objectives before the Hood token ever arrives at one, or they have lost the game, or you can still lose, of course, from disasters across the bottom. The flow of each turn goes where each player is going to have their turn. They take their 3 actions as normal, and then after they've gone, they've flipped a new disaster, etc., before they pass the dice to the next player for them to start their turn, then the Hood player is going to go, and they get 2 actions on their turn. So the Hood's actions are, and you get a little handy-dandy sheet here, I'll just go over them really quickly. You can move your character, and again, you have your own peg here, which starts out on the layer, but you can be in your plane, you can be in your sub, each one with its own speed, again. So you can move for 1 action, you can plot, which means draw an event card, take a look at it, and put it up here anywhere you want that is still empty, and that is not where the Hood is standing at the very moment, okay? So yeah, you can even put them behind a spot that's already been passed by. You can conspire, which is place an agent, one of your agents, on the space where you are. So, for example, my first turn could be move to the North Pacific, and then conspire and put an agent there. You can also do dice rolling actions, which are spying, hijacking, and escaping if you get captured. Spying is what you are going to do to try to take pictures of the Thunderbird machines, and by doing so, advancing the Hood. So if I can be in the same space as one of the Thunderbird machines, I'm going to roll the dice. I am trying to get a specific amount. For spying, it is 6. And if I do so, then I put the picture of that machine on my little camera here, and the Hood figurine will advance, okay? And there's a little bit of math that goes into it, but basically it's -1 for every good character there, and I could get rid of one of my agents in that space, if there are any, to give myself a +2. So that's how that works. And it's the same thing for hijacking, the math, and the same thing for escaping pretty much. The hijacking is actually taking the Thunderbird machine and anybody who is on it, and they are captive. And they're going to have to try to escape. So that's as the hood, that's the main objective. It is moving around. It is, every time you cross one of these spaces, taking that letter, looking at what's on the other side, putting it somewhere that I have an agent, like there, and basically trying to make it very difficult for the good guys to win. They have to, the good guys, in order to win, if they arrive somewhere where there is one of these and they stop their turn there, they can flip it over and take a look at what it is they need to accomplish. So in this case, they have to discard those 2 tokens, and if they do so, then this goes here, and they have accomplished that. And then they would need to do 2 tokens on the second one and 3 tokens on the last. If they can do that before the hood figurine arrives, then they win. If they cannot, then the hood player wins. And that's basically it. The Thunderbird players are also going to have some special actions, of course, to counteract the new things that the hood can do. So they can escape if they have been captured themselves, on a Thunderbird machine that's been captured. They can erase a picture. If they are on the same space as the hood, they can try to erase his capturing of the machine technology and move the hood figurine back. And that might actually trigger an event if you step back onto a space where there's an event, so be aware of that. Or you can try to capture the hood and just basically, stop them from continuing to further their plans. So that's pretty much it. You get the handy-dandy little sheets here. You are going to have a different sort of cadence to the whole game. But everything flows pretty well. It's sort of easy to figure out. It does change mainly this up here and the way that that's handled with the objective sort of showing up out there wherever the hood places them, and then the manipulation of the track itself can be a little bit different. But that's pretty much the game. The objective of the game stays the same for pretty much every player, except the one player that needs to be the hood, and they are going to be fighting against international rescue. That should give you a pretty good overview of how this expansion works. Let's go back up top and I'll tell you what I think of it. I was a little bit worried about this expansion because I tend to not adore when a cooperative game does this whole thing of, okay, so you're familiar with the game, we've probably put on an expansion or 2, now we're going to make one of the players play the bad guy in the game. So we're going to take that away from the game, which was automated, and give it to one of the players. But, as I said, I tend to not enjoy that, but I think this game does it pretty well. This is interesting for both the players playing against the hood and the hood player themselves. They get to do largely the same things that the players get to do, which tends to be one of the problems I have with games that do this, where that player taking over for the game either does not have enough to do, or they have a lot of rules complexity, or they have to really, there's so much transcribing that has to happen from what the game used to do to what a player has to do, that it's just clunky. This one avoids a lot of those pitfalls. And so I was pretty impressed with it. I thought it worked well. Everybody's engaged. The hood player is going to be engaged. The players themselves, the Thunderbirds, are going to have new challenges to tackle. And it's a radical feel, to the game. It's a new radical feel. It really does rewrite some of the aspects that you're sort of used to, but not in a way that you have to relearn the whole game, really. It's just a few new rules. So again, I was the most worried about this one, but I'm pretty impressed. If I had to rank them all, I would say this is my second favorite, right under Tracy Island, and my least favorite being Above and Beyond, which I still do like. Go check out the video for that. So, the hood. If you are looking for a big, interesting change in Thunderbirds, you have played the game to death, and you enjoy this whole concept of now one of you is going to be the bad guy, then I would definitely recommend you check this one out. It does that well, it plays interestingly, and it's a solid amount of new stuff you're going to get in the game for really a new game experience, I think. So, that is the Hood for Thunderbirds. Check this one out.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.